Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Black Knight Gaming. We're here today with an invasion of Itrom, another priority mission for our BattleTech campaign. 3 skull difficulty on a Martian biome, and although we did get another assault mech last episode, we're not using it. It didn't have any ballistic hardpoints, and I'm just a sucker for the big guns there. Also, we did have Archangel finally reach Guts 8, which gives him a second reduction in recoil, so he should be much more accurate after that first volley with those larger guns, those Ultra AC 10s especially. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so we've dropped in, being welcomed to the Badlands of Itrom by the Lady Kamea Arano herself. And let's go ahead and see what this has in store for us. It's a capture mission, at least one of the silos it looks like, and they're quite far away, which might be a bit of an issue for us if we do go particularly slowly. So let's see, I think I actually recognize this map from playing some BattleTech of all things. I think there is maybe a flashpoint or something like that that takes place on this map as well. I'm not really sure if that's in the base game either, but it could be. Still, you know, it's a fun little tie-in there. And I think what we're going to do is, if memory serves, this path is relatively close quarters. I'd like to go over to capture storage points Charlie first, although if we drive up this left side here, well, yeah, alright, so let's just do, let's stick to what I said at first there, and let's see if we can get over to Charlie. I don't really want to split up the lands because I'm not sure where we'll see those enemy forces coming in. It looks like there's one 60-ton vehicle that we can see so far on sensors. I would expect quite a bit more before this mission is done. So let's go ahead and get into the first round of combat. And yep, there's quite a bit of movement that we can't see. I would also not really be surprised if there's an assault mech or two. So there's a 40-ton, there's also a Shadowhawk. Nothing too bad, actually. We might be able to take this without too much trouble. So let's go ahead and get the Zeus moving up as well. We won't really be able to fire this round, I expect. The Highlander, even with those Gauss rifles, I don't think we're going to have a nice line of sight around that corner. Let's see, yeah, well, we have one position we can fire from, 60% accuracy toward that Shadowhawk. I think we might take it, and the Annihilator not quite able to take that shot, so let's go ahead and move up the Highlander first. We could potentially block the way, although, yep, there's still that one space there. What I don't want to do is move up the Highlander and block line of sight, move up the Annihilator and block the Highlander's line of sight. So we'll fire in here 2 Gauss rifle shots. Let's see what we can do, and we land both of them. It looked like on that right leg. I'm kind of surprised that leg isn't destroyed if that's where both of them went, and holding on with just 17 internal structure left. So that Shadowhawk already taking a beating after one mech fires in the first part of a round. And what it looks like here is that they are trying to destroy these silos, so I'm not really sure what that means for what their target priority will be. But it looks like they are moving up to attack our actual lance. So the Shadowhawk coming in with some good evasion. The Cicada having a little bit less evasion, but it looks like undercover and guarded, if not entrenched. So let's see, 55%. And if we do land that shot, well, I think what we'll try to do here is follow the previous strategy. This Marauder has a 35% chance to hit the head on one of these called shots, and we have great accuracy coming in against the Cicada, so hopefully we can land the Gauss. If nothing else, we might get, yep, we have a decent head hit coming in there. Well, not really a decent one. It's like only one of those, well, I guess shotgun pellets, if you can call it that, did land. And if we come up this way, we have decent hit chances, but not great. So let's see what that is on the Cicada. That's much better. So let's fire in here at the Cicada. I know that leg is very badly damaged for the Shadowhawk, but I just want to start taking things off the board as quickly as possible. And I think the Cicada allows a better opportunity to do that. We do go right through that Cicada's CT, and that's one of the 4 units around Silo Charlie down right off the bat, so that's pretty nice. And if we move up the Highlander, we could take a good shot, but I think I want to move the Zeus first. So the Zeus has seen some slight improvements. The Zeus has 2 medium pulse lasers we purchased off the black market. In addition to that snub PPC and SRM6, it runs even hotter now, which is not all that great, but if we turn off one of these pulse lasers, we can get it decently under control. We turn off the snub, then everything else firing is in the negatives. So let's just go ahead and fire in full Alpha Strike, missing a lot, but able to take off that right leg, which will drop that Shadowhawk's initiative and give us a very nice target for the next round. So 1 mech down, 1 mech disabled, and we still have the Annihilator coming in. Yeah, I think we might take that shot. Well, sorry, not the Annihilator. We have the Highlander coming in with those Gauss rifles again, and we only have 6 rounds of shooting with these Gauss rifles. So I think what I might do is turn one of them off and come in at that right torso. Well, we're gonna go for the head. Yeah, we'll go in for that right torso with just 1 Gauss rifle, hoping to shoot right through it. And instead, it looks like it landed either on the CT or that mech's other leg, which is not what we wanted to have happen at all. And the Zeus taking some light damage from the Jenner could be much worse than that. And let's see, so the Shadowhawk should be standing up. Yep, that looks like it was the other leg, so we will be trying to leg this mech now. Coming in with the Marauder, who has, again, that called shot bonus. A 79% chance to hit that leg right there, so I'm feeling pretty confident. And we do destroy the second leg. Now that Marauder only starts off with 8 rounds of shooting for its Gauss rifle, now down to 6, so we will have to be a little bit more careful with our ammunition than we have been if we want to get all the way through to the end of this mission. But for right now, the Zeus will just open up fire on this Jenner, and I'm tempted, since we have so much resolve, to go ahead and use a precision strike, just trying to take this mech out of commission all in one go. So we'll aim at that CT, structure exposed, lots of damage coming in, and that Jenner is completely out of the fight. So I'm really impressed with how the Zeus has handled its upgrade, making me quite happy here at the moment. And we aren't able to move the Annihilator far enough up to take a shot, so what I think we'll do is we'll come in at a sprint, and we'll move the Highlander up this other direction at a sprint, get some good evasion on both of those mechs, and prepare to handle this vehicle regardless of which direction it chooses to go. So we come in, looks like we have the Marauder moving first, but no shot, so we will reserve and go ahead and let that vehicle move, or come up ourselves with something that can see it. So this is a risk of destruction. I think this is from the building exploding, though, not anything touching down, but I'm not really, well, entirely comfortable with that. Let's see. If I move up here, I'm outside of that range, and I still do have vision on this SRM carrier, so that's where we'll go, and this should be more than enough damage to take that out. So there is a dropship coming in, so I'm glad we didn't go into that red zone. And we, looks like we defused that bomb, that silo, I guess. So now we have to either get to the evac zone, which is back here, or we can go after Site Alpha and Site Bravo. But, you know, this seems like the opposition is rather light, and I'm kind of happy with what we've achieved thus far, so let's go ahead and head back for right now. Otherwise, well, we could come up around this way. It's actually, is that climbable is the question, because we don't have jump jets on any of these heavy mechs. If that is climbable, it would be easy to go through, and, well, I guess why not, right? So let's go ahead and go up that way, see if we can go up that hill, and if so, you know, the extra pay is always nice. We, I think, make, by default, 1.4 million C-bills from this mission, but I'm always happy to be handed more, like the mercenary company that we are, so payment, it's always good. It doesn't look like we're able to go up that hill, but we might be able to go around. This looks like it should connect, is part of why I'm a little bit confused here, and I would be really surprised if we can't go around this back side. Now, the one concern that I have is if they do start shooting in at that storage silo now that they're on our sensors, we won't be moving up very quickly to intercept. It'll take us a couple turns to get within firing distance, so if there are another 4 enemies there, whether they're mechs or vehicles, that will be something that we can't potentially outpace, with this silo being just, you know, right next to where all of these combatants are. So we will reserve, and it looks like we can go over the top. It just took a bit more movement than we had. So we'll bring the Marauder up here, and we see a vehicle, 60-tonner. Okay, so that's the rule then. Once they detect, they'll start shooting at the silo, or at a marauder here. So hopefully they keep shooting at us. That looks like it's another either LRM carrier or SRM carrier. Probably LRMs, considering the low damage output on that salvo per missile. And the Zeus, now following up the hill. The Annihilator is very slow. This is what we pay for in terms of being able to bring that much firepower to the table, but you know, the Highlander able to make it up this smaller hill, I think, that connects. And next round we should be able to start shooting in. So we see a Trebuchet, we see a Locust moving quite quickly up here, and I'm not really concerned. So a Centurion in the back as well, guarded and entrenched. Let's see if we can move up and take a shot at that carrier, and it is an LRM carrier. So let's just go ahead and fire in. We should be able to break right through this vehicle in one go, using that Gauss ammunition, because by the look of things, we had 12 combatants on the field. We're now down to probably 7 remaining, unless there's something that pops up unexpectedly here. And the Highlander is able to go in and get a shot on that Trebuchet. So what we'll do is we'll turn on the second Gauss rifle and go ahead and try to fire in at the head of that mech. We aren't quite able to do it, it looks like, but a lot of damage coming in on that left arm in particular. Some damage, some decent damage going into the head. It looks like we did land actually a Gauss rifle to the head, and it just had so much damage mitigation. It's guarded, it's in cover, and it's entrenched, that it actually survived a Gauss rifle round to the dome piece, which is, you know, it's quite impressive. I was really not expecting that. I think I even stated last turn that, you know, if you start taking Gauss rifle shots to the head, it really doesn't matter what mech you're in, and yet that Trebuchet just survived. So, you know, having to eat my words here a little bit. We have slowed it down to Initiative 2, which is nice, taking some of those guns potentially off the field if we have a chance to fire in with the Marauder again. And the Centurion peppering that Marauder with some more LRM fire, not really the most comfortable thing ever, but let's go ahead and move the Marauder over. Yeah, great accuracy here on the Trebuchet, and it is tempting to turn off that Gauss rifle once again. Let's go ahead and do that and just go in for that headshot. Hopefully here we can land enough damage, and we do. That mech is out of the fight. Good salvage opportunity as well, although it is a lighter mech than anything we're really looking for at the moment. So let's go ahead and bring up the Annihilator, and we have absolutely wonderful accuracy firing in here at the Centurion. So let's just open up with absolutely everything. Unfortunately, we do get a bit of scatter, although there is a head hit. Probably it looks like it was from an AC-5 shell. It deals more than 45 damage because of the Annihilator's, I guess, chassis quirk, you could call it, which adds, I think, 20% to all ballistic damage. So we'll come over and, well, I'd like to follow up on that, but the thing is, having the one head hit, even though that pilot is damaged, doesn't make it any easier to land the next shot. So let's just go ahead and use the Zeus here on the Locust. Not the best chance to hit ever, but we don't need all that much damage coming in, and we do get way more than enough. The standard SRM-6 that was on this mech during the last episode was actually traded out for well, I guess a specialty SRM-6 with +4 damage per missile. So instead of 6 times 8, it's actually 6 times 12. And because we will get more resolve as the turn rolls around, we will try get greedy here a little bit, go in for that headshot, and we aren't able to land it. We aren't able to core out this mech either, but we do get a knock. So that Centurion should be moving at Initiative 1, which will give our Marauder time to unleash those twin snub PPCs once more before that mech has a chance to stand. So I guess I am kind of glad we came over here. It seems like these objectives are not the most difficult things ever, and this poor mech is just, all of its armor has been stripped off. And just to add insult to injury, we'll fire in that Gauss rifle shot, go right for the CT, nothing fancy, and that mech is out of the fight. So we've secured the second of these silos, and now we just have the third, which, if we look at our map, all the way over there to deal with. Hopefully they'll evac us automatically if we do take out that third silo, and for right now we are out of combat, so all of our mechs will be sprinting. We'll get rid of a little bit of heat buildup that we've had going on here, although not if we go through that radiation field, even though it is Well, is that quicker? Yeah, okay, so that looks like it connects to some rough terrain down here. And we don't have that much heat on that mech, so let's just go ahead and do that if it is a bit faster. The Highlander and the Annihilator are really slow, so let's just start moving down this way, and we might have to reconvene a little bit as we get to that next silo so that we don't start the fight too much before we have most of our firepower brought to bear. So the Highlander and the Annihilator moving up around this side, and the Zeus really kind of impressing me with its speed for being an 85 tonner, which there's not actually that much of a weight difference between it and the Marauder. The Marauder coming in, I believe, at 75 tons, and that Zeus coming in at 80, so it's almost a heavy mech in terms of tonnage, barely into the assault weight class. So, you know, I guess it's not that surprising, and although the base game here for BattleTech does not allow customization of engines, this is actually another one of the things that several mods allow you to do if you're so inclined. A little bit greater customization, you can kind of mess with some of the default free weights, weight capacities and speeds of some of these mechs by switching out their engines. So you can get more speed, but it comes at the cost of a decreased free equip load. And we do finally see some enemy contacts. A vehicle at 60 tons, a mech at 45. I'm not really anticipating stiff enough resistance here to make us sweat. So we'll bring up the Marauder and the Zeus around that right-hand side, the Annihilator, and soon the Highlander coming around the left-hand side there as well. And there should be a couple more units that we can't quite see, which I guess we'll figure that out. But let's go ahead and see if we can move. Well, nothing has a shot. Oh, okay, so the Zeus has a shot. We'll move into this whirlwind here, which gives us some extra protection, and let's see, yep, they've noticed us. Although I don't think any one of them yet has fired in at that storage silo, which is a little bit confusing if that is their own objective. It's a Blackjack BJ-1, and this is another SRM carrier, which I don't want to take that much damage, so we will be focusing down that carrier first, taking out that vehicle handily with the Zeus, and now because we see these two mechs in the background, maybe we can get a better shot, and indeed we can. So we'll bring up the Marauder and the Griffin or the Commando. So the Griffin has more protection, it is entrenched and guarded. So let's go ahead and fire in. If we get lucky, since it isn't in cover, this should still be enough to kill, but we can't quite land that Gauss rifle on that Griffin's dome piece, instead just hitting with a little bit of damage from that snub PPC. And I think what that means for us is, well, okay, so we'll move the Highlander into a radiation field because we can afford the heat for right now. Firing in with the twin Gauss rifles, hoping to take out that Commando. Only one of them lands, not too surprising given the 60% hit chance. Not exactly spectacular. And now we can move up the Annihilator, and we actually get a clear line of sight on this ice, which is great for our heat generation as well. And we have enough resolve that let's just go ahead and see if we can follow up on that head hit. Not the best chances, but I've seen worse. And the Annihilator is one of my favorite mechs to go headhunting with because of all of that nice autocannon damage. We aren't able to land the headshot, and now it's back to the enemy turn. The Blackjack firing into the Zeus, landing some good damage too. I mean, those were AC2s by the look of it, 25 damage, reduced to 18 by the cover that we found ourselves in. And now we can go in with the Marauder again, using the precision strike because I'm pretty sure we'll be able to kill the mech with it. Going in for that nice head hit once more. We land the Gauss rifle, which is perfect, and that mech goes down, which should give us inspired again, and it does, hanging in there at 55%. So everything absolutely going to code about as well as we could reasonably expect. So now our choice is, do we go in to finish off the Commando, or do we fire in at the Blackjack? And the Commando has so much evasion that I think the answer for right now is the Blackjack, which also does have more armament and some pretty paper-thin armor for its weight class, which is just, you know, it's nice. It makes our job a little easier. And unfortunately, our two leftward mechs, the Annihilator and the Highlander, are not quite in position to take advantage there. So we'll split those two up, and it looks like these two mechs for the enemy will survive one more turn. The Commander firing in at the Zeus, Commando, not Commander, and missing, stripping the Zeus's lone evasion pip, and that Blackjack should be able to get some nice damage in before everything's said and done. No, maybe not. So it fired in the Annihilator, and just no great effect there, which It's kind of expected. We do only have 2 rounds left on this Gauss rifle, but considering these look to be the last opponents remaining on this mission, we will go in with that Gauss rifle once more, going headhunting and not able to connect. But we do just core out the mech instead, which, you know, that works for me. Again, salvaging a blackjack or not is not going to break my heart one way or another. And let's just pummel this commando into the ground. So that is the 3rd silo, and if there aren't any surprise plot twists, that should be the mission. So it looks like that is, and we'll be right back with the mission next week.
Mission successful.
That is a very nice payday. So we have 2.5 million C-bills coming in. We spent a little bit of money in the black market. I did end up selling that assault mech that we got after the last episode, boosting our monetary reserves here a little bit. And let's see what we can get as far as salvage is concerned. So, nothing I'm really all that interested in. I suppose we could take the trebuchet parts. Let's look down here. Ooh, so an LRM-20 with +2 damage, and that +2 damage is not overall, it's actually per missile. So that is basically what amounts to, well, let's see if I can do math, 40 additional damage per volley, which is very nice. So we will take that LRM-20 double plus there. May actually convince me to start using missiles, which is not really my natural state of things. So we'll get rid of, actually let's get rid of all of those parts. We don't really need them in terms of fielding those mechs. And we will take an SRM-6, as well as, well, that gyro is nice, but I prefer the ones with hit defense. Let's see if there are any heat banks or things like that. No, jump jets, and then just down into the ammo piles. So let's instead go back up. We'll grab this cockpit mod, +2 injury resist, which is very nice. I don't anticipate any of our pilots being out for that long, but you know, out for no time at all is even better. So we'll be right back with another mission. Alright, so we're back, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that last campaign mission was all too easy. So we've flown a little bit out of our way, and we'll be taking a 4-skull battle in the tundra against some pirate forces. And the goal here is, I want to see this lance sweat a little bit. I want to see us maybe take some internal damage, some structure damage, maybe get some pilot injuries. I want to really stretch this lance as far as it can go and get some better battle data so that we know what it'll be like to really push these mechs and our pilots to their limits. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so as we touch down on this drop, it is important to notice that Glitch here in the Zeus is, well, in bad morale. So using any sort of resolve abilities will take up additional resolve if we use her. So we won't be using her for any precision strikes if we have any other choice. And that is just the Zeus. I would be more concerned if it was our Marauder or our Highlander pilot, or even Archangel here in the Annihilator, although I don't think that your own character can get morale buffs or debuffs. So as we approach here, it looks like there's an 80-tonner vehicle, there's a 40-ton, well, not 40-ton, there's a Rifleman 4D, and quite honestly, at the moment, I'm a little disappointed. I took this mission because I wanted to see, well, if we could get ambushed by some assault mechs, things like that. I've seen crazier things happen on 4-skull missions, and unfortunately, those sorts of 4-skull missions are the hardest that I have been able to find locally. And you know, right as I say, I'm a little disappointed. Our Annihilator does take a pounding, twin PPC rounds, despite having high evasion. That'll be a Rifleman for you. And it looks like some more, a couple more PPC rounds going into the side of our lance, making contact with the Highlander. Although the armor is still all well in the black right now, that left torso did take, it looks like, both of those shots, which is just magnificent clustering. I can never get that nice clustering when I try it for myself, but you know, that's the AI for you. So we will stand up here where we have a little bit of damage reduction, and I think, yeah, 3 PPCs. This carrier needs to die. 94% chance. Okay, so either one of these 2 side torsos we go for, we have a very nice chance of clustering, and we do take out that PPC carrier in one go. I guess in terms of raw firepower, with all of those PPCs coming in, I could be more disappointed, but saying I could be more disappointed is not the same thing as saying that I'm impressed. So both riflemen's building significant amounts of heat, wonderful accuracy here on this rifleman 4D, and we don't have enough for a called shot, but let's just go ahead and open up, tearing out that left arm and that left torso, knocking down the rifleman all in one go. And now that that rifleman is down, what we can do is we can come in with the Highlander and with the Zeus potentially and look for a head cap to take this mech out of the fight with as much salvage as possible, although tearing off one leg and one arm, I think that will mean we can't get 3 even if we do take this mech out at the head. And because of that, let's just go ahead and go for that second leg. 62% chance to hit is pretty good, and we actually get a little bit of a head hit there, so there's always a chance. And that rifleman's leg is down to 15, structure for the CT still up at 93, so the choice we have to make now is, do we come in with the Highlander and fire in at the rifleman that's still up, not the best accuracy, or do we just let it rip on this downed rifleman? And I think we will let it rip on this downed rifleman. We won't even build any heat if we fire everything, so it'll be a bit excessive, but let's just go ahead and really let loose. It does look like we actually need most of it. Destroying both legs, but not before maybe ripping off an arm. I'm not sure if it registered all of that damage. And now the other rifleman coming up, and okay, there we are. So, oh, you know how I've said that I've wanted a Cyclops for a little while, a Cyclops Z? Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly the model that I was talking about. So, at least one mech coming in as reinforcements, probably more that we just can't see right now. And I am very happy about this. So we'll let... Okay, so there's... Is that a second Cyclops? Wow, okay. 10 HQ. I think the HQ, is that an SLDF variant? Or is that just a specialty? I'm really not sure, but 2 Cyclops is coming in, and if we can, I'd like to hit one or both of those in the dome piece. So we will be going in with that Marauder and that excellent 35% hit chance. I'm really regretting not switching out some of those weapons for less scatter sorts of weapons, such as regular PPCs instead of the snubs at the moment, and we'll save as much resolve as we can firing in at this rifleman. It's built enough heat that it's not really as big of a threat as it was at the start anyway, and we do destroy one of those PPCs, which means at least one of the arms should be open. So let's see, both arms open, that left torso opened up as well, and I do want to follow up, so let's just go ahead and bring the Zeus up. Not the best firepower on this Zeus again, but hopefully enough to do something. Let us maybe finish it off with the Annihilator. So that right arm destroyed, significant amounts of internal damage on that rifleman. Although that CT is still holding strong, so who's to say? And the reason I was trying to kill it without using the Annihilator is I want the Annihilator over here able to provide fire support in against those 2 Cyclops behemoths over there, 100-tonners. And let's go ahead and open up with our own Annihilator. Well, we have enough ammunition, let's just go for it. I want this mech dead, and the Annihilator never ceases to amaze in that capacity. So that second rifleman is down. We have, I think, just the 80-tonner vehicle over here, as well as these 2 Cyclops variants. So let's go ahead and, well, the Marauder will have a chance to move again. Maybe not, no. So the Cyclops Z moving at initiative 3, an elite striker, so the Cyclops Z is giving itself an initiative boost from 1 to 2, and its pilot is boosting it further from 2 to 3. So it will actually move before our Marauder has a chance to go. Not the best accuracy, but okay, so there's a Victor as well. I'd be really surprised if there isn't a 4th mech coming in here, and I do like the Victor. But we're going for head caps as much as we can, and let's see if we can open up. It's hard to tell what that is, so that's the Cyclops 10Z. Let's go for that headshot, hopefully able to land that Gauss rifle in. Oh man, okay, so that 10Z is down. 100-ton mech taken out in the blink of an eye, which is absolutely wonderful. And the Victor now moving up, probably soon followed by that HQ. The choice we have to make now, do we move the Marauder and take another shot at that other Cyclops, or do we sort of do a bit of a retreat? Because the one Marauder, even with that nice headshot, would get overwhelmed by these assault mechs and what's probably another Shrek PPC carrier. I think the answer that we're looking for, well, we lose a bit of accuracy if we go that way. We don't have great accuracy to begin with. unless we move up a little bit, which I'm not super comfortable with. Let's go ahead and reserve. Let's let them move forward first, take their shots if they will, and that way when we move we get evasion pips that will last into the next round on that Marauder. It's the PPC carrier, yep, another Shrek PPC carrier, mounting that, well, rounding the top of the, well, whatever, it went up the hill, which is the important bit, as we all know where that PPC carrier is. Not able to get a good line of sight on it with the Victor. Let's see about the Highlander. Well, there's one place where we have a shot, which is right here, and the Annihilator would also only have a shot from that one location. So let's go ahead and move the Annihilator at a sprint. I want him, so we could go up this way. There's a path right here, which would take this Victor potentially in the side. Yeah, I think that's the path right now for the Annihilator. It'll probably be a similar path for that Zeus, which will move at a sprint, but for right now I do want to fire in those twin Gauss rifles here at the PPC carrier. I'm not really willing to use up any resolve. I want all of that resolve going toward the highest hit chance, which is with our Marauder here on those sweet salvage. I mean on those 100-ton mechs. So the Zeus, which is I think as of yet undamaged, will be moving up, hopefully drawing fire from the PPC carrier and potentially even the Cyclops next round. And the choice we have to make now, the Victor is rather isolated but has great damage reduction, better than the Cyclops. So I think the correct play is, can we get a clear line of sight? It does not look like it. So 65%, I could have sworn I saw a 70 somewhere, and yep, that is 70% chance, which will go up when we use our precision strike here, up to 90%. I wish it was 95, but take what you can get. And we're firing in at that Cyclops 10 HQ. So we do have one head hit, but not as good as, not as clean as the first round there. And there it is. There's the fourth mech of that lance. There's an awesome coming in as well. So this is exactly what I was hoping for, really testing out our firepower against a truly terrifying enemy lance. So it looks like, what's moving at 1? Okay, so that's going to be the Cyclops because we took that aimed shot, I guess. I'm a little surprised by that. Battle computer in the head, some decent damage on that torso, and the PPC carrier is barely hanging on that torso. It's almost worth firing in with the Marauder on that PPC carrier just to take its PPCs out of the fight. I really don't want to do that. I really want to take another shot in at that Cyclops, so we'll risk the Marauder a little bit. We will Vigilance that Marauder and use that second ability, Precision Strike, really just trying to take out this Cyclops as quickly as possible, and we don't get it. We missed 35% chances to hit the head of that enemy mech. And the PPC carrier coming in with Ace Pilot, not so surprising, and I suppose we should have used that ourselves. Come to think of it, we even could right now. Not that it really seems to make a difference, 95% chance either way. And this thing has to die, so let's go ahead and just let it rip. More than enough firepower coming in. That carrier is off the board. We have 3 assault class mechs left for the enemy, and our Marauder is in a bad place. This is not a mech that was designed to take that beating well. We're holding right now. Our armor is holding, but we are getting relatively low. There's only half remaining or less, actually a little bit less in this right torso. There's about half, a little bit more than half remaining in that left arm, and neither one of those things is what we want to have happen. So I think what we'll do for right now, we'll move up the Highlander, and as much as I want this mech, it may not be worth going in for another precision strike looking for that head hit. I mean, 17% chance to hit. I guess we could use another one from the Marauder next round, but if we miss much more, we'll just core this mech out completely. So I think what we'll do is, we should have sprinted if we weren't going to fire, but nothing I can do about that now. So let's just brace that mech, and the Zeus will come up over the top of the hill. I care much more about the Cyclops than I do the Awesome, even though those hit chances are just spectacular. So we will fire in at that Awesome just with the snub PPC. We get some sensors impaired, which is nice. Everything we can do to mitigate the incoming fire from this mech, the better, and it looks like he did deploy outside of the map, which is part of why he's probably not firing in as quickly as one might expect. So let's go ahead and move down out of the line of sight of that Victor, and with good accuracy on the Cyclops, and this really is our last gasp at trying to capture this mech, which has been far more resilient to that, and we do ammo explosion, I'm not sure we'll get 3 pieces of salvage from that. We might get 2, but we might just get 1. That ammo explosion, dealing with that can be kind of rough at times. So, excellent shot on the Victor, decent shot on the Awesome. Between the two, I'm more scared of the Victor because of that AC-20. He can take something like the Marauder's damaged torso and make it a Marauder's barely hanging on torso. So we will move up the Annihilator at a sprint, still not within effective range. This was all because of that 1 additional turn required to take out that Rifleman. And the Highlander will follow suit. It should have sprinted last turn, but sometimes, well, hindsight is better than what we have in our heads at the moment. And I'm glad we waited, because that was the difference in taking out that second Cyclops with a well-aimed shot. So we'll move the Marauder back again. With how it's performing, I almost want the lance of just Marauder 2Rs, and we'll take a shot in at the Victor, dealing lots of damage to that right arm. Looks like we do crit the AC-20, so I would be rather surprised if it has too much structure remaining there, and that's why I'm scared of the Victor, because all of that 90 damage just pounded into our Zeus, all in one location. So if we take a look, that left leg went from full to a little bit less than half, just in the span of a second. So we'll bring the Annihilator up, and if we take a look at the Victor, that right arm with the AC-20 is basically toast. Let's just go ahead and fire and see if we can kill this mech. We do take off the right arm and the right torso, get a nice ammo explosion. Not quite able to knock that mech down. Let's see what the Highlander... So the Highlander can't shoot at anything. This mech is really just too slow. And the terrain is not right for the intended purpose of long-range fire support. And we will... Well, I want to maintain a good facing, so we'll move the Zeus down right up close and personal with this Victor. And I would be really surprised if this salvo doesn't knock the mech over. Those PPCs do a little bit of stability damage, even if the lasers don't, and we do take that mech down onto its back. So the Awesome should move at 2, which gives us the Marauder shooting in before that Victor will pick himself up. The Zeus taking, wow, again, a bit more fire than I would like, but it survives, and it survives decently well. So the Victor, that core is almost gone. I think our best bet right now is to just move the Marauder up, take that shot, aim for the core. We have 2 mechs competing right now for our salvage priorities, so I'm not even really concerned about that at all in terms of preserving that mech for salvage. And now we have 3 mechs all aiming at this one poor Awesome. So we'll start off with the Highlander, why not? Coming in here and, yeah, using a precision strike. We have enough resolve to do a second one with the Annihilator if need be. Those Gauss rifles pounding into that Awesome and destroying the head. So it's a lot of headshots. This is why we wanted our high skill pilots before we do these sorts of missions, and we'll be right back with the mission rewards screen. Alright, so my apologies there. I have been having some trouble with the recording software with all of those loading screens. We did manage to salvage the Cyclops 10Z, and we will probably field it instead of, well, I want to say instead of the Zeus. Because the Zeus really is just a stand-in at the moment. It doesn't really add any, to our lance. Right now, our Annihilator is most of our firepower. Our Zeus is, again, filler, but the Marauder brings with it that nice lance command mod, which does, I think, damage reduction for everybody and gives that Marauder just a wonderful chance to headshot. And the Highlander is an SLDF Highlander. It's not getting replaced by anything else that's basically not SLDF quality or better. So the Cyclops 10Z coming in with a battle computer, and we'll fill it all with all of the nice goodies we have currently stacked into that Zeus 6S. So thank you guys for hanging around. If you liked this content, please don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be back real soon with another episode. Thanks for hanging around.